Welcome to the very first Macebell DVD. My name is Jake Shannon. I invented the Macebell for Torque Athletic, and it's a very outstanding tool for your grip strength. But what we hope to show you here is a bunch of other things you can do with it outside of just the 360s and the 10-2s. The history of the Macebell, I was introduced to swinging what's called a gada in Hindu wrestling circles from Karl Gotch. Yeah, I went out and worked out with him, and he introduced me to this. His was made out of wood, a large 10-kilo ball on the end of a stick, and it was incredibly difficult to swing. From that day forth, I was obsessed with trying to get one. I could not find a manufacturer to make one out of wood for cheap, for less than $300, $400. So I approached Torque Athletic. They loved the idea. We made some safety enhancements. There is on the 5 kilo, the 10 kilo, and the 15 kilo, there is a urethane coating on it, which you're going to be very glad to have. I've had numerous people email me and tell me, oh man, I wasn't quite sure why you had that on there, but I hit myself in the tailbone or I hit myself in the ankles, and luckily they didn't injure themselves because of the urethane. You'll also see there's things that you can do with the urethane with regards to indoor training that if it was just a steel ball, you'd end up really hurting your surfaces. That being said, be very careful. Treat your Macebell with respect, because you can hurt yourself, you can kill yourself, you can kill your pets, you can kill anybody. You can destroy your whole house, literally, if that's your aim. But we don't want anybody doing that kind of thing unintentionally. So be very, very careful. Go outside when you first try any of these maneuvers. And make sure there's nobody behind you or to the sides of you especially. That being said, let's get on to actually trying to swing the Macebell. I know that a lot of people, when they get it, they have a very difficult time just swinging it, a standard 360. We've got a bunch of different varieties here. You can see mine is all taped up. The reason is, and we'll do a Scottish hammer throw later, you throw some duct tape on here. The urethane is pretty tough, but it's still rubber. You can crack it. There's a steel core inside, which is indestructible basically, for all intents and purposes. But if you put a nice skin of duct tape on it, it looks pretty ugly, but it really will it'll make it go a long, long time. So a lot of people have a basic problem, just basically swinging a 360 or a 10-2, and they think it's strength, but it really is mostly technique. And there's a couple ways for people to really get into swinging rather quickly that I've learned that through our Macebell seminars, getting people up to speed. So I have a volunteer, and his name is Mitch. Come on in here, Mitch. He's never really swung a Macebell before, so I thought this would be a great way to kind of show you somebody who's never done it, some of the tricks we do to get them swinging within, we could probably get it in 5 or 10 minutes. So, Mitch, you ready?
Ready.
Hold it back here, Mitch, just like that. That's all you have to do. Okay? Good. Now, what I want you to do is to start rocking like a pendulum, back and forth. There you go. Don't be afraid to let it get up there. There you go. Just don't hit yourself. Just what you need to make sure is that you're getting this nice straight path. It doesn't go out away from the body. The circular path happens directly behind your body. And what I like to tell people is to imagine there's a plate of glass right here, and that cannot go through the plate of glass. It has to stay close to the body. Okay, now what I want you to do, Mitch, is as it gets higher and higher, actually you can stop for just a second. Watch this. So as it gets higher and higher, we'll start with the pendulum just like you had it, nice and calm. Once you feel like you have it, just give it a little tug. And bring it and hold it right there.
Okay.
Okay, it might take a couple times, but just give it a step. Just get it rocking and rolling. Nice and relaxed like before. Whenever you're ready, just give it a little tug. A little more. There you go. just get it rocking back and forth. Get it comfortable first. Perfect. Okay. Now just let it back down. Put it behind your back. And what I recommend is people do this both sides. So now try to tug up from the other side once you feel it high. There you go. It's as simple as that, okay? Once you get this down, the pendulum, as I like to call it, as you get the pendulum down and you can pull it back up, that is the hardest trick. You have to remember the plate of glass is behind you, and you do not want the Macebell to go through that plate of glass. Simple as that. It's like you're at the center of a clock, and the Macebell is the hands of the clock. So it needs to go in a perfect circle right behind you. Vertical circle. Okay, Mitch, I'm going to have you try that. Bring it up here. Now, I want you to just simply, you're going to send the Macebell, the bell portion, send it straight sideways. Don't send it back out. Straight sideways. And I want you to take your right bicep and put it in your ear. So when you go over, you're not going to cross in front of your face. Your bicep goes into your ear like that. And then just do the rest of the motion if you can. That's it. Now it takes a little bit of balance. Try one more time. Remember, put that right bicep in your ear. There we go. Okay, one more time. Now, just get that control on the top so you end up in this position again. Ah, too powerful. Just a little finesse. Good, good, good. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to do two loops. So go twice around. Bicep to the ear each time. Boom, bicep to the ear. Boom. That's it. Nice. Perfect. Now, try to touch your left bicep to your ear. Ah, what happened? Because you sent it out through the plate of glass. So send it directly out to the side, okay? Concentrate on making the ball go straight out towards your right side. Almost, almost. One more try. Not bad, not bad. So what you guys can see is this is the methodology for you to play with it. That was the first time that Mitch has ever done this. And it's taken a little time, okay? It takes a little bit of time. I want you to just, whenever it goes out, try again with the pendulum. Put it behind your back. Just swing a little bit. And then pull that side. There you go. Now, send it back to this side. Not bad, not bad, not bad. And actually, not being a 360 is a 10 to 2, which we'll cover in just a minute. But that is the very easiest way to do this. I have everybody emailing me after they get a 10 kilo and they say, oh, I can't do it, I need a 5 kilo. That's, you don't, a 5 kilo is really for one-handed swinging and also for people that are probably 135 pounds and lighter. I would recommend that you just be persistent and try to work with the 10 kilo until you get it. And again, the whole trick to it is setting the Macebell out to the side, and to do that, you imagine there's a plate of glass. You can even stand against a wall and do it. And every time you hit the wall, clearly it won't go around. Just be careful that you don't bang your knees up too bad. The other thing is to remember that your bicep has to go into your ear every time you go around. All right? So thanks, Mitch. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about 360s and 10 to 2s. And to help us demonstrate that, I've got another partner, Rick. Rick is a RKC. He's a fairly well-known kettlebell instructor down here in Southern California. So he has taken to the Macebell quite a bit. He likes it. We're going to have him do a few maneuvers for you guys. We're going to have him show 360s, and you'll be able to see from the side angle how it's staying close to his body. We're going to have him show 10 to 2s, which are different than 360s. Again, that's a reference to a clock face. You'll see it goes from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And we'll also have him do some one-handed swinging with this as well. That's when your grip strength is pretty advanced. But it's definitely a challenge and it's fun. So, Rick, without further ado, 360. As you can see, you can go one single direction over and over, or you can go 360 up and then back the other way. So any combination, and this really activates the shoulder girdle, but it's also very rough on the grip. From here you can go into 10 to 2s, which again is like 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Notice the bar is not actually touching his shoulder. He's not using the shoulder to lever the weight up. It's all centrifugal force, so there's a lot of technique involved. That's very typical, and we also try to encourage people to work up to 100 reps. All right, Rick, you want to try the one-handed? This is for advanced guys. Definitely don't do this with the pets or the babies around. That takes tremendous grip strength. Outstanding. Thanks, Rick. Good job. So those are the basics of the swings. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, all you have to do is log on to www.macebell.com, and myself, Mitch, Rick, Austin, who will be in a minute, all of us are going to be there, and a ton of other people. Everybody's very encouraging and happy to help, and it's free. So you can watch videos, you can upload your own videos for critique, and there's forums as well. All right, we are going to now do some of our midline stability exercises that are really difficult to do with anything besides a Macebell. The first thing we're going to do is introduce you to Austin. Austin, say hi. We're going to walk the plank, is what it's called, and it's just basically a play on words, being a plank where you hold yourself out on your elbows. You see it a lot like yoga and Pilates. Well, this is pretty difficult to do. So, Austin, why don't you go ahead? We like to have people do 10 reps. We're just going to do 5 or 6 for demonstration purposes now. And make sure you got a good non-slip surface. You put the Macebell down and you walk your hands down to where you're in a plank and both hands touch the bell. It's pretty difficult. It takes a lot of core strength to be able to do that. And you work that a few times. Now, the trick is you're having to balance, and you'll find out when you try this on your own, you're having to balance through your grip strength and your core, because that thing gets really squirrely as you start going down. Okay, that's good, Austin. Now, the next exercise you do is you simply do the same thing, but you're going to do it backwards. You walk all the way down, touch your head, and then touch your hands to the bell, and then walk back up. That's one. And that's it. So you're working a bridging exercise. You're using the forward bend and a backward bend. It's very simple. Again, this one you want to do for a minimum of 10. It is a great back exercise. Okay, that's good, Austin. Now the next one that you can do for your core midline stability is called a seated kayak. This one, all you do is you simply take a seated position, you elevate your legs up about a couple inches off, just like that. You grab low on the Macebell, and then you're just going to start kayaking, rowing back and forth. And you'll do that for as many reps as you can handle. Usually we try to go to 50 or 100. The other thing you can do, and I'll show you when we change weights, let's switch. This is the bigger Macebell, this is the 15 kilo, he was just using the 10 kilo. It gets pretty difficult to do. And so the main thing is to get that twist going while keeping the legs up, and you'll start feeling it in your abs, you'll feel it in your arms. It's pretty comprehensive exercise. That's awesome. Thanks. Okay, so those are the exercises for midline stability. There are a few others, but we won't go into them yet on this DVD. There's a tremendous amount of work that you can do with your center with the Macebell. Almost everything you do, including the 360s and the 10 to 2s, also work your midline stability tremendously. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is called a Mjolnir, and it's spelled very weird. It doesn't. It's not phonetic. It's Mjolnir, and it's a reference to Norse mythology. Actually, Thor is the name of his hammer. Anyway, it's similar to a sledgehammer workout because, and those of you that actually own a Macebell can attest to this. It's completely different, a Macebell, than a sledgehammer. The torque and the centrifugal force vectors, they're completely different than having a sledgehammer. So you'll find that you can use a sledgehammer kind of to approximate some of the exercises you do with the Macebell, but they're not long enough, one, and they're not heavy enough, two. And you'll see how that plays out when we do Mjolnirs against the tire. So can you guys roll this tire out here? We've got a nice tractor tire that we can use. Okay, Austin, can you come on out here, and we're going to have you do with a 10 kilo, just simple hammers against the tire. So what you'll see is it's almost like chopping wood or hitting with a sledgehammer, or like when you're at the carnival and you've got that big mallet, you got to make the thing go up to the belt. It's the same thing. So go ahead and you're gonna watch what he does. He's gonna switch his grip as well each rep. See how he's getting a little bit of air? He's really putting all his weight into it on top of the weight generated by the base. Now this typically you will want to do for time. So you'll set a time, 2-3 minutes, and see how many reps you can get in that 2 or 3 minutes. Good quality reps. That'll definitely get your heart pumping. Okay, that's good. Thanks, Austin. So that's Mjolnirs. Those are pretty difficult to do. You can do them with any size. If you do it with a 15, you're really going to get a workout. But you can also do it with a 5 if you're looking to do more of a wood chopping type of exercise. Again, excellent for your grip, excellent for your heart and your lungs. Okay, so we now are going to go to another grip strength feast, but it's also an exercise. This is something that you can definitely wow your friends with. Be careful that they don't end up coconutting themselves in the head when you're doing it, because this is, like I said, respect the weight. The other thing that you may want to invest in on top of the Macebell, it's the only other piece of equipment you probably will want, is some chalk. You're going to get some pretty nasty calluses anyway. You'll get them on the fingers, like when you do a lot of pull-ups, but you're also going to get one right here. Chalk is going to help you, especially when you start doing 100, 150 swings. You don't want to sweat. That's what causes the friction, and you're going to tear your hands up pretty bad. That being said, let's do some levering. Okay, Rick, you want to come in? We'll have you try it with the 10. So this is a pretty traditional exercise. You just want to make sure you don't coconut yourself in the head. You just basically hold it straight up, and you try to lever it back to your nose. And back up. That is very difficult. He's got tremendous grip strength to be doing that with a 10 kilo. So again, that's levering. It's definitely good for your grip strength, but it's also very impressive when you demonstrate it to somebody and then have them try it. Just make sure you're spotting to make sure that they don't hit themselves in the face. Okay, so the next exercise is called a gravedigger, and you can understand why once you see the motion, but what you're going to do, this grip that he has a under-over grip. This is going to be a common grip that we use when we start doing other things besides swings with the Macebell. As you can see, he's kind of got a stance like a hockey goalie. He's down, his legs bent, his knees are slightly bent, his arms are ready. he's going to use a lot of hips to get this up, and this is another one you want to get some high reps with. So let's go ahead and start. You're going to swing it up, and notice the weight-bearing arm, in this case his left arm, the arm stays straight, and you bring it all the way up. The bicep, again, needs to go near the ear. Again, you're kind of throwing it with the hips, just like you're shoveling, and hence the name, gravediggers. Go ahead and switch sides. Again, under and over grip. That's it. You just want to make sure that weight goes nice and back behind. So you have to activate the core. Wonderful. And that is gravediggers. Thanks, Austin. Okay, so we've shown that you can use the Macebell for grip strength. You can use it for midline stability and core. I'm also going to show you how you can use it for metabolic conditioning. Basically, to get your heart rate up and get your lungs kind of burning. You could use the 5 kilo, you can use the 10 kilo. The 15 kilo is going to give you the most versatility on this, and you'll see why. So basically take your Macebell and you lay it down. And Mitch, you can come on out. You're just going to lay it down. And when you first start, again, this is another one timed just like the Mjolnirs. You're going to start, go ahead and stand right towards the end. You're going to go all the way to the end of the lever on the Macebell. And you're just going to start jumping. Go ahead and back and forth. 2 minutes, that's it. Now,